Ohio State guys have a certain confidence about them, and it seems to be a trend. What is it that you learned in Columbus to have that confidence going forward on the field, off the field? I've seen the worst. I know I can succeed here.
Just the competitive nature that, we compete against the best at Ohio State. You've seen over the past few years guys succeeding in the NFL. We get trained by the best, so I think, we're prepared and we're ready to go when it comes to the NFL.
During high school, you come out of a powerhouse down there in Florida, in St. Thomas Aquinas. What was that recruitment process like? Obviously, your older brother was already a Buckeye, but before you knew for sure that you were going to head there, was it chaotic? Was it overwhelming? You got every single university knocking at your door.
It was pretty easy for me. I've always been a big Buckeye fan, and then Coach Meyer went there, and I got to meet Coach Johnson, who's the defensive line coach there, and it was a perfect fit for me, so it wasn't too tough. I only took a couple other visits, so it was simple.
How influential was your brother in the process?
Really just not him telling me to go there, but me seeing what progress he made as a player. So, he went number 3 overall. So, it was easy. I wanted to do what he did, so obviously go to the same coach.
And you were able to visit the school, and like you said, you got to see Joey go through the whole process. But once you sign your name on the dotted line and then you show up on campus, what were the changes? How did it feel different from when you were visiting, supporting your brother, to when you're on campus now as a Buckeye?
It's completely different. You just have the expectation of already one of the best players who's ever been through there is your brother.
Yeah.
And then you come in as a 5-star and everybody's looking at you to pick up where he left off, come in, play as a freshman, stuff like that. So, it was pressure, but it's the same pressure that I had going into high school coming after him, and it's the same pressure I'll have now going in the NFL.
Yeah, even going back to your father and some of your extended family, going back as far as high school, what was the balance of being proud of the success your family has had and following their footsteps, but also wanting to be your own person?
A lot of people ask me that question. I just kind of lived it, so maybe my personality's fit for it, but I don't really pay attention much to all the pressure. I don't really get too overwhelmed. Kind of just do my own thing, and it's worked out for me. So I'm gonna just keep doing that.
Yeah, I'm sure Joey had a lot of advice for you before you became a Buckeye. For any incoming freshmen going forward, what advice would you give them to maximize their experience at Columbus?
Just listen. If they're a defensive lineman, listen to Coach Johnson and trust it. He's the best, and if you trust the process, get in the weight room, put on whatever weight you need to put on, lose whatever weight you need to lose, and just work your butt off. You're going to either come out as a successful player in the NFL or you're going to be a successful person.
Day one at Ohio State, before you were able to work with Coach Johnson, before you were able to work with Coach Meyer, what would that version of you be most proud of right now?
Just persevering. I had some bumps in the road, and just that I was able to persevere and reach my goals through all the tough times. I think I would be admirable about that for sure.
Mm-hmm. And that relationship with Coach Johnson is obviously not going anywhere. You're going to be a Buckeye for life. As you look back on these Saturday games, Ohio State's always going to be in prime time. You're going to get plenty of opportunities to watch. What are you going to miss most from being out there on the field?
Just game day, everything. Just going to the skull session which is before the game. We walk into the old, basketball arena, and it's filled with fans, and we give our little speech. We're in our suits, and we make the walk towards the horseshoe, and then get in the stadium, music's blasting, just getting ready to play with your boys, teammates. College, it's a different kind of family. You go through a lot. You spend literally your entire lives together at that point. So you live together, so it's different, and I'm definitely gonna miss that.
Yeah. one of the biggest hurdles that a lot of college guys have to make that leap to the NFL is being able to play on a big stage, but every game's a big stage at Ohio State. How did that prepare you?
Yeah, you get college game day about twice, 3 times a year, so you get that feel. It's an adjustment period coming out of high school, but once you're at this point in your career, playing at a big program, it's just playing football at that point.
If someone wanted to see Nick Bosa at his best, what game are you turning on?
I'd probably go with Big Ten championship or Sugar Bowl against USC. And then my junior year, I didn't get to play too much, but the first 3 games, watch those.
Yeah. They say what makes a great player great is they're still great against great competition. So what were those weeks of preparation like before big games? Because the big games is when you definitely shine the brightest.
It's just a different kind of focus. When you're playing a weaker opponent, which happens in college, you don't play the greatest teams like you do in the NFL. You have to play a great team every week. But in college, it's kind of a different just vibe the entire week. Practice is a little more on point. Coach Meyer really makes sure that the focus is there. And you're just, every rep you take in practice, you're trying to make it a game rep. So it's just easy in the game.
It was definitely your goal when you signed on at Ohio State to be an early draft pick and play in the NFL. But what was that moment, that game, that play, that practice, where it clicked in your head, everything is going according to plan, the NFL is going to be the real deal for me?
Probably my spring football, my going into my sophomore year. Freshman year, you're kind of just feeling it out.
Head spinning the whole time.
Right, you're just kind of playing off natural ability. And then my first spring is when you're not playing games, so it's just practice and thousands of reps when you're young. And I just started to watch myself and see myself really use great technique and just dominate. And at that point, I knew I had a chance of being pretty good.
Well, everybody hates Ohio State. That's what happens when you're successful year in and year out. You make a lot of enemies. But what was the team that got the most out of you, that thorn in your side, that team that you didn't even have to try to get ready, you were naturally ready to play them?
I think that comes without saying. Team up north
Yeah.
Is what we call them. But that's the biggest rivalry in sports. So that's just a different vibe. Like I said, it's a huge game, and you just come out giving everything you got the entire game.
And did you like playing them more at home, or did you like being the bad guy going in there?
It was fun both ways, but I like being in front of that home crowd.
grew up in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And although it might not have been your final destination, what was it about Boise that first drew you in?
I got my first offer from Boise State, so that meant something to me. I wanted to leave home and get out and experience something new. And Boise was, it was far away, but it was close, in the same regard. So I liked the blue field. It was unique to me. They had a really good culture. So.
Well, you said you want to get far away from home. You got even further, and you
Yeah.
go all the way to NC State. So during that transfer process, what was it about the Wolfpack that got you over there?
It was mainly my coach, Eli Drinkwitz, was the reason I ended up at North Carolina State, and really even knew about North Carolina State. So I was really fortunate for the opportunity to, have another chance to play ACC, a really good school. Was able to get a master's degree from the school. So just an awesome area in Raleigh. So yeah.
And you leave Boise State freshman year. Things don't always work out the way that you expect them to. But what was the first thing that Coach Drinkwitz did that made you feel comfortable, that let you know I'm going to be here for the long haul?
Just in general,
Yeah.
I think he was just he was really good to me, and I got to know him. We got close at Boise State, and then I think I just trusted him. I loved his family. He's got 3 awesome girls, and a really awesome wife. So I knew he was a family man. I knew he would he had my best interest in mind. I knew he would give me a fair chance to play at NC State, and that was important to me.
You got your master's degree. You were there for more years than maybe some of the other guys. What was it like being in that leadership role, them all looking to you and you having more experience really than anyone?
Yeah, well, I graduate transferred. Had 3 years at Boise State and then 3 years at North Carolina State, so a pretty long career, about as long as it can be legally. But I tell people I had 2 chances at college football. I had 3 years at Boise State and 3 years at NC State, so I learned a lot from my first little stint. And like you said, I was able to take some things I learned. I had kind of a perspective change through that process, through that transfer, that I think was really beneficial for me. And just remembering why I was playing, kind of reminding myself of it's supposed to be fun, and kind of just go out there and play, and just some of the things you just kind of forget in the mundanity of things. I was able to kind of, once I got hurt and able to transfer, I was able to kind of freshen my perspective. So.
Yeah, a lot of people, from the outside looking in think, transferring's easy, football's football, but there's way more to that. It's a new campus, it's a new city, there's a whole new chemistry to a locker room you have to adapt to. Mm-hmm. How was it really adapting to that locker room? You got 119 brand new teammates.
Well, I think that's what we're all going through right now, to be honest, with our transition to the NFL. So I just kind of view my situation as I had an opportunity to practice in college, and I think that's going to help me in this next transition, going to the National Football League.
Coach Drinkwitz is such a respected mind from a football standpoint, but your guys' relationship, as you discussed, was far beyond the football field. What are you most thankful for that he taught you off the field that you can take just as far as not just becoming a quarterback, but becoming a man?
I think he expected a lot from me, and I think one thing that I always loved about our relationship was, is we could challenge each other, and I think he would definitely tell you that we both grew because of each other, because of questions, and obviously there was times when we wanted to get after each other a little bit, but that's part of it, and that's part of growing, and kind of being in uncomfortable, situations like that. So I think he would tell you we grew a lot together, and I would tell you the same thing. So we were together for a long time, so very close with him.
A lot of ups, a lot of downs, but you definitely took care of that NC State program. Who are you passing the keys off to? Who do we need to know?
I think it's in really good hands. Obviously, I think Coach Drinkwitz left and lost some offensive staff, but I think the staff is in really good hands under Coach Doran, enough to the point where my brother is going to go to NC State. He's committed for 2020, so I wouldn't let that happen if I didn't have confidence in Coach Doran and the program they have there. So As far as the quarterback position, I think I think Matt McKay, which is a guy who's been on the team with me for 2 years. I think he's going to do a good job next year, and I think he'll lead them this next season, and then hopefully my brother pretty soon. We'll be in the mix and competing.
If I was talking to Matt, if I was talking to your brother in a few years, what do you hope they took from your experience at NC State?
I hope they remember me as somebody who did it the right way, and I hope Matt can just remember some of the things I taught him as far as the preparation and kind of his mindset and where his mindset needs to be off the field and kind of how that translates to his performance on the field. So excited for the year he's going to have next year.
This upcoming year, when you're sitting in your hotel on a Saturday night, getting ready, getting prepared for Sunday, you're going to turn on the TV and see NC State playing out there without you. What are you going to miss most?
What am I going to miss most? It'll probably be weird, to be honest, but I think I'll just miss, I'll just miss my teammates that I graduated, most of them, which I graduated with this year, and I think it'll just be strange.
Yeah.
But I also got a lot of teammates, younger guys on the team that will be fun to cheer on.
Northern Illinois, because it's cold.
Ooh.
Hardest place to play in the Big 12, West Virginia easily. Their fans, it's incredible, like the atmosphere. I mean, it's hard to play just because it's so hard to hear, but I love that kind of atmosphere.
Ooh, Georgia. Georgia be rocking. They fans are crazy. Like, it ain't no dull moment out there ever.
I think Washington.
Oh, Washington Huskies for sure. You know, even when it's not sold out, it's still loud.
The fans are real rowdy.
You know, there's been times where me and the guy right next to each other can't even hear each other talk. Definitely a crazy environment.
Get under your skin, so you gotta just keep your composure.
Hardest place to play, LSU.
Death Valley, of course, Death Valley.
LSU.
I definitely had to say LSU.
LSU by far.
When I played at LSU, it was pretty rocky there. It was hot. It was a little hard to breathe. You know, you got those fans drawing down on you.
They're just loud and obnoxious fans.
Just the fans were going crazy, you know, and that whole team is a whole bunch of trash talkers, so.
Especially when it's LSU and Alabama.
It's a crazy crowd, and, you know, they get real riled up.
When we get the crowd rocking, they show up regardless.
It's an unbelievable atmosphere.
West Virginia, because they allow alcohol.
So, high school, 42-0, 3 state championships. There was really no adversity. Really no adversity. You had a stacked team, and of course there's ups and downs, but if you look at it from a broad perspective, you're climbing up, up, and up. So take me through that freshman year at A&M when you first hit that brick wall and you really hadn't hit one yet.
I think, like you said, coming out of high school, being one of the top-rated players, everybody wants to play now, and being in my shoes now, knowing what I know, playing too early can be detrimental, especially when you're not ready. And I wasn't ready to play. I didn't know everything that I needed to know. I was just out there trying to survive instead of being out there operating the offense, stuff like that. At the same time, there's some other things that I'm not going to mention, but at the same time, I think that was good for me to lesson learned. I think everything happens for a reason. Trusting God and having my family behind me. It was a learning experience, and I wouldn't change it for anything. So,
I mean, that's tough to admit. A top competitor, a lot of ego sometimes, but
Yeah.
you push that to the side and you're able to admit, sometimes I'm thrown out there too early.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, just not out there operating. Just out there just trying to make it, trying to live off athleticism, which is not possible. And the higher level, keep getting higher and higher. Fail.
So you're going forward, and you say the athleticism is what you were relying on early on in the Big 12, and then early on in the SEC, and then you come over to the Big 12. And what was it about the mental side of the game that Lincoln Riley really instilled in you? Because if there's one thing Lincoln Riley does with his quarterbacks, is they're prepared for the next level.
Yeah, just learning the offense. Having time to develop, see how it's done, and that was the big part about me sitting behind Baker. He obviously knew what he was doing. He knew the offense. And just watching him do his thing, it wasn't, really anything that he told me or anything like that. He always, everybody knew I had the ability. It was just whether or not, if you know what you're doing out there, then you're gonna succeed. But if you don't know where to go with the ball, stuff like that, it's not gonna end well. So, Coach Riley definitely did a good job of that. Helping me grow as a man and a player on and off the field. So, I definitely think he's one of the reasons why I'm here. So.
And what was it about him that he was able to remove ego from the team? You guys got superstars all over the field, offense, defense, from sideline to sideline, but everyone was in it for the team.
I mean, it wasn't an ego issue. I'm not a kid that felt entitled to be on the field or anything like that. Every kid competitor wants to play, and that's just what it is. But at the same time, being from playing high school football in Allen, and like I said, I'm not an entitled guy. I understand that. Rankings, me being drafted #1 means nothing. I still got to go do what I got to do, go work hard and earn everything that I plan to earn. So for me, to answer your question, there's a standard at OU, and that's if you don't buy into how we do things and how we work, and then you won't last long there. Just because if you don't do things the right way on and off the field, then like I said, you won't be there long.
Yeah. You spoke earlier about what you learned from watching Baker on and off the field, and although he wasn't there at the time that you were, what do you hope Jalen can take from your tape as they go through spring and training camp?
I got to watch him during the spring. Just obviously, some people like to think that it's going to be an easy transition just because Coach Riley, what we've done in the past as quarterback, me and Bake. I don't think it's not that easy, but at the same time, I think he's very capable. And once he gets comfortable with the receivers, with how we do things at OU, which, obviously he knows discipline. He's got that. He played at Alabama. They're obviously great for a reason. So I think, once he gets comfortable, settles in, and touches the field, I think, good things will happen.
What was it like week to week, just being surrounded by talent? You guys were putting up points, so many points that people can't criticize your offense anymore. They criticize the Big 12 defense as a whole. Watching your games was exciting as it gets. When you can look back on college football and know you left your mark on it, that's got to feel special.
Yeah, for me, I pride myself on, doing things people haven't, being different. But at the same time, that took a lot of hard work. It wasn't easy. Having one of the most historic seasons in college football history, with the help of my teammates and my coaches, man, we put in a lot of hard work. And like you said, I was surrounded by great players. people want to criticize the defenses, but it's tough to stop. You know, we were tough to stop, and you know, it wasn't just me out there. So, but it was definitely a fun time, and if I could, I'd go back and do it again.
For college football fans who want to watch Oklahoma, who is a name we don't know now that we will this time next year?
I'll go Charleston Rambo, for sure. He's straight out of Dallas, Cedar Hill, Texas. Rambo, I think Rambo's gonna have a big year.
Obviously, you go in each year, like you said, you want to do things that no one has ever been done. But in this case, I think it's okay to do what had been done before. You get to hold up that Heisman Trophy. How special was it, not just for you, but for your school, for Coach Riley?
Yeah, no, it was a surreal moment for me. You know, sitting there in the seats right before, you know, they announced the name. Kind of picture myself in my younger body. You know, when I was watching on the TV, they had the little TV right there, and you know, it's me, Dwayne, Tua. Just envisioning, you know, him calling my name, and then once he did, I thought I was gonna be nervous, but you know, given the speech and everything, you know, it was almost like God just told, you know, you're supposed to be here right now. I was as calm as ever, and it was definitely a surreal moment.
I mean, you've had your ups, your downs, this sport, that sport. It seems like you just stay the course. If there is a title to the story of Kyler Murray, it seems to be stay the course.
I mean, just be me. You know, just be me. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Well, you have experience in the SEC and Big 12, so we can open it up to both. Where was your least favorite place to play?
In both conferences?
Out of both.
Oh. It wouldn't have been the Big 12. SEC is pretty bad. I'll go like Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt?
Yeah, stadium was ugly. It was cold. Probably Vanderbilt.
So it wasn't because of the intimidation?
Oh, we talking like that way? Nah, I love playing on the road. That was one of our things at OU. You know, we pride ourselves on. Y'all can go look up the stat. I don't think 4 years we haven't lost a road game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Class of 2015. I mean, I got there a year later, obviously, but yeah. So we definitely pride ourselves on going into somebody else's place and winning the game.
If someone wanted to see the story of Kyler Murray encompassed in one game, what film are you putting on?
Probably, even though we lost, probably the Texas game. The first game we lost. Just because, I mean, if you followed me at all in high school and stuff like that, we had some crazy comebacks, like ridiculous, like down 21, start of the fourth quarter, stuff like that. Like, I just never feel like I'm out of a game, no matter what, you know, what the situation is. And I think my teammates believe that as well. So probably that game, because everybody in the building knew if we touched the ball one more time, it was up, it was over. So.
Florida,
Yep.
up to Toledo. Take me through the process. I mean, that is a complete change in culture, complete change in weather. How was it?
It was good. I mean, coming out of high school, I mean, really had that many offers coming out. I mean, I had like 4. And I remember like one game, Coach Kendall, he was the offensive coordinator at the time, came down and found me after one game. Didn't really know much about the school, didn't know it existed until I went up there. I liked the environment. The coaching staff just showed me a lot of love, and then I just felt like it was the right place for me to be at the end of the day, because like they stuck with me through everything I've been through, so I couldn't turn my back on them.
Seemed like loyalty is a pretty big thing for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's real big in my family because you can't trust a lot of people in this world. I mean, not that what I've been through and they still stuck with me, I mean, that goes to show like Coach Kendall like is a real genuine, like real good dude. And he just wanted nothing but the best for me.
With how much effort they put in to make you feel comfortable, make you feel wanted, make you to feel at home, how long did it take before you said, this is home for me now and this is home for me for the future? You're always gonna be a former Toledo player.
Say my 2016 year, I mean, that's like one of the roughest points of my life up there when I had got injured or whatnot. But just going through that whole process, and Coach Kendall and the teammates was just surrounding me or whatnot, and just being in my ear, always making sure I was okay. That just showed me that I got people in my corner with me, and I wasn't in it alone. And that just got me through that whole process. And moving forward, I just felt like it was home with me. And to me, I mean, I could trust anybody in the building, and I can go to them about anything.
That sophomore year where you did get hurt, a lot of people go in the tank. A lot of people just want to be left alone, just want to lock themselves in their dorm room. But you learned a lot. You learned a whole lot. You stayed involved. Was that coach pulling it out of you? Was that just demanding to be on the sideline? But you were basically an honorary coach that season.
I would say myself, I mean, because I had to really learn and grow up during that time, because I realized like football could be taken away from me at any point in my life. And that like made me like take things more serious, like watching film, studying the playbook, going to treatment on time, like just trying to do everything the right way. And like came out with like good results. Like once I felt like got my grades right, I was playing better. I just felt better as a person, on and off the field.
Yeah, what was that moment that you realized not only can I be a very good college football player, I could play in the NFL too?
I realized that like in high school, my 12th grade year, my coach always told me like, you have the ability to play on Sundays. It's just your attitude got to change. And that stuck with me throughout my whole career in high school and college. I worked on my attitude, like changing my ways, trying not to get mad at certain stuff that really wasn't worth getting mad over. I was just trying to keep a positive mindset towards things. Even if it was like something I didn't want to do, I just had the right mindset to just do it.
There's going to be a lot of adversity as an NFL rookie. That's part of it. You're just thrown into the fire. How are you going to handle adversity differently now than you would have looking at your high school self?
I mean, now that I kind of know how to attack things, I mean, and see things differently, I mean, nothing ain't really going to be new to me except for like the playbook or whatnot, but I could just go in there and like be myself like I've always been. I mean, I can't come in there and try to be somebody I'm not, because it's not gonna work out. But I'm just trying to come in and learn from the vets, apply like their knowledge to my game so I can eventually be a great player just like them.
And as far as learning the game, I mean, you were a quarterback up until your senior year in high school, and then you go to Toledo and you're playing right away when really the receiver is a new position for you. So how did you adjust to the college game while you're kind of still learning the receiver position?
I mean, I always played receiver since Little League. I mean, receiver's my first position, but I just played quarterback because we didn't have no quarterback in high school.
You just had to do it.
So I had to play. And we didn't win that many games. I mean, we were terrible, but I did my best. Then like my senior year, we got a freshman that came in. He was able to let me go to receiver and got me the ball. And then when I got to college, I can I seen defenses, I knew coverages and stuff, so I had a kind of advantage over the other receivers that came in, the freshman receivers. And I just felt like my game was at a higher level than they was, because just by me playing quarterback and knowing how hard that position is to play, I just felt like I had an advantage over them.
And your style of play, when somebody watches you on film, the first thing that jumps out is your route running ability. A lot of people think that's just speed, that's just athleticism, but it's understanding coverages, it's understanding schemes and where guys are going to be. Does that come from your experience as a quarterback?
Yes, I mean, just if you know the coverage, you can look at the DB's leverage, you can see how you want to stem him or what type of release you're going to take at the line. So, and you always got to have a plan when you at receiver. So that just came natural to me.
A lot of guys play in the MAC. Not a lot of guys are third-round draft picks. What was that moment like that day? A kid who was not highly recruited, goes to a MAC school, and now is a Pittsburgh Steeler, playing in prime time just about every game. Has it really settled in yet?
Not really. I mean, that moment was crazy because we got players in the MAC. A lot of people will sleep on the MAC. I mean, we could play with anybody in the country, and we proved that. We got film for that. But just being able to experience that moment with my family, especially my dad, because he been there with me through everything. I mean, I couldn't do nothing but cry when I got that phone call. And then when I went and gave him a hug, we just cried together. And that was my first time ever seeing my dad cry. And it was just a good moment. And just to tell him, like, we're gonna be okay.
Yeah, that's special, man. And what lessons from your dad are you gonna take going forward off the field? As you're not just gonna become a football player, you're really becoming a man now.
Mm-hmm. My dad always just tell me to never give up on stuff, because even in Little League, there was times I wanted to quit. He never allowed me to give up and whatnot, but that's pretty much all I could take. Like, he always gonna stay on top of me no matter what. Even though I'm in the NFL now, but he's still gonna make me work for everything. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely important to have that. So, when you get to the NFL, some guys went to Alabama, some guys went to a D3 school. Yeah. It's all the level playing field. It's all the same for everybody, clean slate. But does that chip on your shoulder still stay there from the MAC being overlooked, from being under-recruited when you knew you had the talent?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people still think, like, they wondering why I went in the third round or whatnot, but it's a reason why I went in the third round, because I work hard, and I showed it. And I showed I could play with high competition, but when you get there, all that don't matter, because everybody there is what you do with it, the opportunity. So I'm just gonna go in there and prove them wrong, like I've always been doing.
If high school senior year Deontay Johnson was sitting in this chair right now, what would he be most proud of, looking at you now?
Graduating college, because that's one of the, because not too many people in my family graduated, so I'm like the third person out of my dad's kids, so that's a big accomplishment.
So back to the NFL, where it's a clean slate, a lot of guys ball out, and when you go to Google and you look up what school they went to, because you haven't heard of them, they went to a MAC school. I mean, the talent speaks for itself. How do MAC schools match up against these other conferences that might get more publicity?
A lot of MAC teams got those few guys. I mean, they get transfers or whatnot, but like a lot of those schools got those players that like hungry. I mean, whatnot. I mean, they maybe didn't get that opportunity coming out of high school, get recruited big, but they got a lot of guys that want to play and like that's got that mentality that they gonna work hard every day. But we got players, like I said before. I mean, don't get it twisted. With MAC, we got players, so we can play with anybody in the country. I mean, we work hard. We might not be the biggest school, but we're gonna give you the competition that you're looking for. So.
And although a lot of them might be your opponents going forward, is there a sense of pride whenever you see another MAC guy balling on another team?
Yeah, because I might have played against him, and I kind of like know what he gonna do or whatnot, like how he plays or whatnot. So it's kind of crazy to me, just being able to play against another guy you played against in college. So.
If you were to go back to Toledo or any other MAC school and they say, hey man, you were a third-round draft pick out of the MAC, what advice would you give them?
Just to always work hard. I mean, just because you're in the MAC don't mean you can't get drafted high. I mean, just take me for example. Just come in with a mindset that you want to work for something and know why you're working for it, and don't just come in and like half do things because it's gonna hunt you in the end. So just always come in with the right mindset, be positive about things, and things will be good.
Cream always rises to the top, right? So anyone who knows anything about high school football knows that Ohio is breeding more talent than just about anybody. So when you come along in high school and break just about every record there is to break, and still schools don't seem to recognize the talent that you have, what are your thoughts?
It is what it is. Because at the end of the day, it's never really been about what anybody else thought about myself. It's always been about what I felt about myself. I knew I'd be here. It just, how was I going to get here? So it wasn't really nothing to me. I've been counting out my whole life. You know, I had a chip on my shoulder, but now it's like more of a boulder.
Yeah.
So it's just growing.
And then what was it about Iowa State? Because you had a couple options. So what was it about Iowa State that said, this is where I'm going to prove the nation wrong?
Well, I didn't have options. Iowa State was the only official offer I had. The other schools that I tried to commit to, they weren't able to accept me. It was always something. But Iowa State was the only offer that I officially had, and it was more of a family setting.
That first practice, whether you got there in the spring or the summer, that first practice, when did it hit you? I'm a college football player, and I'm one step closer to proving the world wrong.
When I declared for the NFL,
yeah.
I know it seems a while away, but I've always had the grinding mentality. And even when I did realize it, it was only for a glimpse, just because of what legacy I'm trying to leave and what I'm actually trying to do while I'm here.
Yeah. And you keep talking about how you knew you would make it here, and that's all you needed to know. So through all the ups and downs, trials and tribs, growing up, what was it that kept you focused, locked in on that end goal?
Knowing that I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to be another statistic. I feared that, and I didn't want to let my mom down just because of all the sacrifices she made for me and my brothers. I didn't want to be the bearer of bad news. So I just took everything I did seriously. I tried to capture and, you know, make sure I made the best of every opportunity I had. And I'm still in to this day.
And how important is it for you to be someone that other kids from Cincinnati or elsewhere can look to and say, hey, if he did it, I know I can do it?
Probably the most important thing out of this whole thing. Not even only for the kids in Cincinnati, but for the kids all over, for my kids that I'll have in the future. So just being able to have that kind of opportunity, why not take advantage of it?
And where does that come from? I mean, I know growing up, you were Eagle Scout, you were involved with the community of Cincinnati, and I mean, from the day that you were drafted, you've spoken about how important it is not to just have success on the field, but off the field as well. Where does that come from?
I think it just comes from my situation at home. I'm not from the best area of Cincinnati, but I'm from Cincinnati. I think it just comes from the pain and the hurt that I went through when I was a kid, and I was seeing so much happen in a negative way, in a way that you can't control, to where when you have a sense of where you can control it, you don't want to go back to what you can't control. So I just want to take advantage of every opportunity and have great, gratitude for everything that's given to you and everything that you work for, because it can be taken away in a mere light of second. So I just try to be grateful and gracious for everything that I do, and I think that's where it really comes from.
At Iowa State, you're balling, you're doing your thing, but there's a flip of a switch. And at what moment do you realize, not only have I laid the foundation of the Iowa State program going forward, but if I keep this up, I can become an NFL player? Was there a specific practice, a certain play, a certain game?
Not really. Like I said, I kind of always knew where I was going to be. It's just when I was going to be there and how I get there. An opportunity it showcased itself, so I took advantage of it. I talked over with my coaches and my family and my teammates, my brothers. I thought it was a good thing for me to do, so I took advantage of it. I've just been running ever since.
How influential was Coach Campbell for you?
Very influential. He was behind me every step of the way. There was no, you need to stay in school. It was more so of, go with your heart, what you're most comfortable with. You don't hear that from a lot of places. So, he's a great guy, great human being. Coach Lou, same way. Coach Lou was very, very big influence on me declaring or not. And he was more so like Campbell as well, as far as going with your heart first. Don't let any outside distractions try to change your decision in any way necessary. So just being true to yourself.
And what about on the field? From your freshman year till now, an NFL player, what are you most proud of developing in your game?
My game, I'd just say my mentality as far as my IQ of the game. You think you know something until you get to another level and you realize you don't know much, but just being able to elevate myself and my mind and my mental, to be able to use the proper terminology and be able to, read different things as if I'm a quarterback. So it's big, but it's definitely it's a joy to do.
Yeah. You were a tackle-breaking machine, and the record books show that. Where does that anger come from, man? Whether it's anger, whether it's the weight room, people hate the fact that they have to bring you down when you have the ball.
I think it's just my pain. When I talk, how authentic I am. The pain and the hurt that I went through as a kid, and just being able to correlate and put it on the field and not get in trouble for it. It's probably that's where it comes from, and understand I can do it without getting in trouble.
This offense was riding on your back throughout this season, and for good reason. Who are you passing the keys off to now?
Who am I passing the keys off of? To Deshaunte Jones, Jalen Martin, Julian Good-Jones, and Kene Nwangu.
You're going to turn on your TV on Saturday nights while you're getting ready for your games on Sunday, and Iowa State's going to be on TV. What are you going to miss most?
Just my brothers, the guys that I went to war with every Saturday, and the guys that I went to war with every day. far as weight room mentality, in the books mentality, and just life. You know, going through it in college and as a kid, and you know, going through some of the transitions that you have to do from going from home to back to college, to understand that you are there by yourself without your family there. So you create family, you know, and the things that you go through, you value more.
And a lot of rookies are going to look back on their former team for the first time without them wearing that uniform, but not a lot can say they turned a program around. Coach Campbell even said Dave Montgomery is a guy who can turn a program around. How does that change your perspective of your time at Iowa State?
It leads back for me. It leads back to the value of it. Understanding how much my team really did view me as a value piece, as a player and as a person. As far as leading with my character, being good to everybody. So that's really, it means a lot to me. It definitely shows how much they really do care.
And if I were to go to that running back room right now, if I said on the field, off the field, everything that Dave Montgomery's been through, what have you guys learned most from him? What would they say?
Control the controllables. Only two things you can control every day when you wake up is your attitude and your effort. I get up every day with the mentality to be positive, regardless of the situation, and also we give 150% of what I have. So that's all I got in the tank. All I ask is from the same from you.
And if I was talking to really any high school kid, football or not, who was frustrated with his current situation, struggling to find some positivity, what advice would you give him?
The advice that I would give, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together.
So David, you knew you were going to get here, no doubt in your mind, and you made it here, but the work's just starting, so what's the next goal?
Next goal is just for me to go in to do whatever the team needs and Coach Nagy needs from me as a running back and as a person. You know, just being able to come in and be a movable chess piece, and being able to contribute as much as possible. If that means me playing special teams, if that means me playing running back, if that means me holding the ball for the kicker, you know, I'm down to do whatever.
And what is it that Coach Campbell instilled in you as a football player to where you know you're going to have success on the next level?
You're never too big to help the littles. And I say that in the sense of no matter how big you become or how big you're portrayed to be, the people that you think is lower than you really are equality in the same sense, because you can learn from both sides of it.
it's annoying to even listen to him talk trash to somebody else. It's awful.
Biggest trash talker.
Biggest trash talker I face would have to be West Virginia's whole defense. They talk trash, but I mean, I like to talk trash too. That's why I wear a mouthpiece.
On my team, Jalen Young, by far.
I've kind of faced a lot.
Christian Wilkins, every day in practice, he just talk crap, and so it'd be fun to get him back at times.
Everybody on OU.
Jalen Samuels, J-Sam from the Steelers. He talks more, you guys know the word, than anyone I've ever been around. And it's funny because it's not his personality really, like off the field, but when he gets on that field, he's a straight gamer.
Dante Jackson, LSU.
Justin Lane was one of them when I was playing him. Me and him are actually good friends now, but at the time that was a heated battle.
I talk a lot of trash, but I say Jonathan Abram from Mississippi State. He talk a lot.
Jonathan Abram, Mississippi State. I'll go with my own teammate. I'll probably say Johnny Dixon, because when he gets fired up, you know, he like to talk trash.
Oh my God. Biggest trash talker of all time. Not even just that I face, of all time. Tony Brown.
Faced quite a few, but if you talk trash, I talk trash back, and I end up shutting them up. So